Just keep it off the books. Not a secret. It's off the books. Joey Jugs.
Live and direct. Hopefully you guys can hear me, man. Hopefully you can hear me. I got some awesome stuff to cover today, man. This is one of my favorite debates to ever watch. I've watched it a few times, but it truly does expose something. How low IQ Brian Shapiro truly is. He can't even track it. And Jay Dyer, absolutely just the surgical precision of his arguments is absolutely insane. So let's get into it, man. Let's get into it. Let's see. Boom. All right.
How do you know that nobody knows that God exists? How do you know that?
We don't know for sure. Nobody knows.
Now it's a universal claim. How do you know that no one knows?
Where's your evidence that God exists?
How do you know that I didn't make a universal claim. You did. How do you know that no one knows?
There is no direct evidence that there is a God.
But how do you know that no one knows?
Because no one's presented it. That's
so
why.
do you know what a universal claim is?
Yes, nobody's presented it.
What's a universal claim?
Universal claim is what I just said.
Which is what?
Nobody has direct evidence that God exists.
And it's what? About all states and all people at all times.
Yeah.
It's a universal claim.
Sure.
Do you have access to universal states of affairs? So
Tell me
all
your
philosophical questions are word games, even though you admitted that the law of non-contradiction
Does God exist,
is not
Jay?
a word game.
Your Christianity, does God exists, right?
Of course.
Where's your evidence that God exists?
The transcendental argument.
Oh, I see. Okay, so that's direct.
He's like the transcendental. He has no clue what the transcendental argument even is. So this is going to be absolutely insane.
Yeah. It's a logical argument. Sure.
And hell and heaven exist, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Where's your evidence of that?
Because it's part of the worldview.
Gotcha. So your worldview, you know for sure. And if
I have
say,
the highest degree of certitude that one could have.
Okay, you can have the highest degree. It doesn't make it true. But
I didn't say it did.
We don't know if heaven or hell exists.
Right,
I
that's
don't
great,
know.
but
You don't know.
But you
and for you to make that claim, I think is insane.
But you made the claim that you have universal knowledge that no one knows that, and you can't know that even on your own position. So you're going out of the bounds of what you can even do on your world.
There is no more. You're a married man, right? Mm-hmm. So you tell your wife, if your wife wants to have a career, she wants a job. Maybe she wants to do what you do. She wants to be a podcaster. You would tell her, no, your job is to be home.
We do that together, so we have a good dynamic.
If she said, that's great. I'm happy to hear that. But if your wife said to you, for example, Jay, I've been thinking I really want to be a teacher or a doctor, you would tell her no?
Typically, careerism, no, is not good for women.
So women shouldn't have the choice to have the job that they want.
I also recognize that we live in a world that's not that way. So people are forced into situations. So I don't blame them for what they were taught, what they were indoctrinated with growing up. But I don't think that that's the best way for women to live. No.
But that's your opinion. Why not let women decide for themselves?
That is not my opinion.
Why shouldn't a woman be able to decide for herself what's good for you?
Well,
Why should Jay Dyer decide
that
for them?
They can do that.
More of the righteous indignation. Look at him. Just how could that be a possibility? What? He can't grasp it. He doesn't want to hear the reasoning behind it. This guy's awesome.
This society.
Complete
and I
walkout.
think if you observe the negative effects of doing that, my view is based on traditional Christian morals. So that's why that's the ought.
So Christian morals say that women shouldn't be allowed to have careers?
Generally, yeah.
Jesus Christ would have said that women shouldn't be allowed to have careers.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay,
Proverbs 31.
Okay. Well, again, I'm unaware of Jesus's teachings of saying that women shouldn't be allowed to live their life.
Jesus is
who appointed
St. Paul, and Paul says that women are
again, making claims on what Jesus said. This dude's never read the Bible, doesn't understand any of this. And he's talking to a guy that is one of the best Christian apologists in the world. The best Christian apologist in the world. And he's sitting there like, Jesus didn't say. It's like, you're really out of your realm here, bro.
Made to be subject to the husband and to have children and to be at home. So Jesus appointed Paul to teach.
What if a woman doesn't want to have a child?
If they don't want to have a child?
Yeah, if they don't want to be a mother and they just want to be a career person, is that wrong?
I mean, again, you have the ability to do that, but again, I'm saying that I don't think that.
But in your world, you don't think they should have that ability.
Well, I don't think that we have the ability to enforce some sort of Handmaid's Tale situation.
Of course you don't. But in your world, you would want women.
But I also believe in
a degree.
I believe in a degree of freedom in society.
What about all the women that are teachers, professors, very successful doctors, surgeons, brain surgeons?
He thinks this isn't an argument. This is not an argument. Him just stating his position over and over. It's not an argument. And Jay Dyer, if you do, go and check out some of his stuff. He has some amazing debates. He knows what he's doing.
virgins? What about all the women in this country that are
what does that have
extremely-
to do with what? That's like saying that because people do
Because
things
you're
that
making
they
the
should
case
do
that
it.
these women are not qualified because they're too emotional.
I said
for
that
these
it
jobs.
shouldn't be the norm.
It shouldn't be the norm.
Right. So, for example, I know one woman who is extremely proficient in history. She knows geopolitics very well. She's an outlier. So it's not the norm for that domain for women to be in that. The fact that we have that in modernity and that it's common doesn't mean that it ought to be the case.
This is why I don't live my life based on religion. I don't live my life.
But you live it based on subjective, what just ad hoc.
No.
He lives his life based on his own subjective morality. So it's like, how are you going to sit there and virtue signal and being like, my subjective morality is better than you, even if you feel like the biblical view is subjective, like you're both equal in this, you know, like the idea that he thinks he's right with no grounding at all. It's awesome.
No, I don't live my life based on what something is said in a book. I'm not a Bible thumper.
But it's just based on what Brian says.
No, you're just based on what Jesus Christ says.
Well, that's a better basis than just what Brian says.
I would first of all, I would respectfully disagree with you with that Jesus Christ wouldn't want any woman to have a career and be forced to stay home. I think that's a misogynistic opinion in my.
Well, I mean, can you give a place in the Bible where Jesus implies that that's okay?
I don't live my life. I don't live my life.
No, but you said
on
Jesus wouldn't say that.
I'd like to think.
Where would Jesus say that?
So you're telling me in the Bible it says
Paul
that
says
women,
that who was taught by Jesus and appointed by Jesus.
So women should stay at home and they shouldn't.
You
be able to
made
have
the argument
careers.
that Jesus wouldn't say that. So I'm asking where.
Well, I'm asking you where does it say?
He
asking
just said
me?
that. He just said that Jesus wouldn't say that. Jesus didn't say that, but he had no it's crazy.
When you made the assertion.
Well, tell me where does
I
it
already
say?
did.
Where does it say in Jesus'
Paul
teachings?
says to Timothy that women should not be teachers and that they should not be outside of the home. They should be at home.
Okay.
So, and if you,
I would have to take a look at that.
it's in
but,
First Timothy, but you said Jesus wouldn't
yeah.
say that, and I'm saying, but
Yeah.
he does say that.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I'll tell you what I think about the Bible, and I'll tell you what I think about religion in general. You can believe in the tooth fairy. You don't know if there's heaven and hell. You have no idea if there's a God. You can believe.
He's comparing Christianity and Christian ethics to the tooth fairy. I don't think that full civilizations have used the tooth fairy as their ethics to set up civilizations. You know what I mean? Like the idea, it's awesome, man.
Believe it. I don't think there's anything wrong with you believing it. I actually am not an atheist. I'd like to believe that there's something out there, a higher power. But we don't know. You don't know if there's hell or life after death. You don't know any more than I know. And guess what? We won't know until we're dead. But what I don't like about religion is people that push their beliefs on other people.
Okay.
And I believe that's what you're doing.
but you push your beliefs right now.
No, I want women to do whatever the hell they want to do.
But you're pushing that belief.
Give me an example of
Are you
me.
pushing that belief?
Give me an example of me pushing a belief and forcing other people or treating
Well,
other
you don't
people
have to force
differently
people.
because
Pushing
of
a belief does not equate to forcing people to do it because you've been arguing your positions the whole time.
My whole position is I want people to live their lives and I want people to do what they want to
that's a
do.
position that you're pushing on people.
I want people to have the freedoms to have a career, regardless of what's between their legs.
Okay, but
I don't give a fuck what's in the Bible. I
Okay,
want
but
people
you
to live their
believe.
life.
Okay, but you say, "Oh, I have all these Muslim friends." They don't believe that.
I'm going to ask Sean a question. Okay, Sean.
So you're not going to answer the.
No. This is
objection.
important. This is important. Sean, I hate to bring you into this. Is it ridiculous for somebody to think?
It's ridiculous that during a debate you go to the moderator and you just defer to the moderator. What is this?
Do you disagree
That
with all
when
the
a man
Muslims?
says that a woman should have her place, not having a career, but should be at home, is that a misogynistic view? Am I wrong in thinking
What's wrong with
that?
misogyny?
I want to know what Sean's opinion is. I trust his
He is
opinion.
referencing a Bible verse, so I think he's approaching it from that point
Yeah,
of view.
but would you say that's misogynist? And a lot of people would consider.
But ethics are relative, so there's nothing wrong with racism or misogyny.
You're telling an entire group of people what to do, what you think they should do.
Like you've done this whole debate where you
No.
said that every white man in America must accept your form of liberalism.
I never said that,
You did.
and I'm not a liberal, and I never said that. When did I
Well,
say
you're
that?
a liberal. You're a classical liberal.
I'm a classical liberal. Okay, let's go with that. And we had this conversation before, and this is what happens when we have these conversations.
But you've been arguing that the people in America should accept your positions. So you're doing the same thing you're calling out.
I'm not asking you to accept any of my positions. I'm just disagreeing with your position. The debate's over.
I thought debates were about trying to convince people of your position. You're not doing that? Are you trying to convince people of your position?
I know that I will never convince.
Like he did this before. He did this on the response to after the Rachel Wilson debate. He's like, when I called in, I asked him to, judge. I said, hey, man, could you give me like, how do you think you did in that debate 1 to 10? And I gave him a definition of what a debate is. He was like, I just don't agree. I just don't agree. So he doesn't even know what debating is. It's like he didn't come here to try to, sort out worldviews and none of that. He didn't do that. He just came here to virtue signal and be offended.
Somebody like you about anything. You are stuck in your views and your Christianity.
That's fine. I'm bad, but what about the audience? Are you trying to convince the audience?
I didn't say you were bad.
I'm just saying.
Let me be very clear. So Jay, let me be very clear. When I wake up in the morning and I do my radio show, I'm never trying to convince anybody. What you're going to get is my beliefs and my opinions. I don't show up somewhere and say, boy, I saw that Jay Dyer guy and he thinks all women should be in the kitchen. So I'm going to show up to that debate and I'm going to try to convince him that women should have their own careers.
The debates are about the audience.
Okay,
though.
I'm
I'm
never going to convince you because this is the way you believe.
Right,
and it's like if you've watched I'm sorry, I confused the guy's last name. But if you've watched this guy debate, has he convinced anybody of his worldview at all? Has anybody ever said, I really agree with what he's saying right now?
It's the audience that you're trying to convince.
Okay, well, listen, anybody who's watching this, chances are, if they're a fan of yours, they're going to agree with you. If they're a fan of mine, they're going to agree with me. I'm not obsessed with audience. I'm not obsessed with changing people's minds because in most cases, I think a lot of people that are on the right, that are Trump supporters, it is impossible to convince them virtually about anything. Occasionally, I get a caller who calls in and says, you know what, Brian, I made a mistake. I regret voting for Trump. It could be the Iran war. It could be the Epstein files, whatever. But I'm not trying, Jay, to convince anybody. That's why we are fundamentally different.
Well, in a debate, I am trying to do that because debate's about trying to convince people.
Well, you haven't done that.
That's what classic debate is.
Okay. Well, again, when you make a statement that you believe all women, in your opinion, should be in the kitchen, most people would most people would define that as extremely misogynistic. And let me tell you something.
I don't care what most.
I don't have a problem. Neither do I. But I can tell you that if a woman is capable and she's smart, then I have no problem with her being a politician. I think there are people in D.C. that are women that are very good at what they do. I have no problem with them. I think a lot of people like you didn't vote for Kamala because they're women. And I think that's wrong. And I think that's wrong. And I think it should be about your intelligence and your merit and what you've done in your life. And Hillary Clinton, listen, I didn't even vote for Hillary Clinton in 2016, but I'll be the first one to admit she was overqualified for the position based on what she's done in her life. Donald Trump is a fucking reality TV show host. You voted for a reality TV show host guy with no experience on campaign policy. He was given a $500 million company from his dad when he was like a teenager. This is a guy that was a TV reality star. So if you want to talk about people that are not qualified, I would say maybe we shouldn't put reality TV stars as the leader of the free world more than what's between their legs, which it sounds like you're a little bit obsessed with. I'm sorry, it does sound that way. You would never vote for a woman. It's clear, right? You would never vote for a woman ever, right? Ever, because they're a woman.
I mean, let me ask you guys, would you vote for a woman? I mean, I would say generally I wouldn't. I wouldn't, generally, but it really depends on like the circumstance. Like, it really does, if it's just a local election or something like that. But generally, I've been around, I don't know, man. I've been around a lot of women. And when you have a human being that their personality changes depending on, what day of the month it is, it's just, I don't know if that works good for leadership positions in the government. That's my opinion. Is it misogynistic? Maybe. But at least I'm not going to be sitting here hiding it, and hopefully if you guys are listening, hopefully you're not as, offended. Oh my God. He thought that. Well, it wasn't just Jay Dyer that thought that. Most of America thought that. You can see this in both the elections. You know what I mean? And the chances of a woman being president is slim to none. It's just not going to happen. It's just not going to happen.
There could be some extenuating circumstances
Okay,
where
good.
There's a
Good.
lesser of two evils. That's possible.
Okay, good.
Like
You-
if, for example,
Good.
if there
I'm
was
glad to hear that.
if there was a woman running in a local election that I thought my vote would have some
Yeah.
effect on,
Yep.
sure.
I agree.
So you would be okay with a woman being a
Well,
politician?
Brian, I said the whole time the norm, and you wanted to make it like expansive universal claims. It was just what I
Well,
said.
you
was
made the
norm.
case, and we could rewind the tape, that women shouldn't be programmed. Women shouldn't be politicians.
The norm.
That's a generalization
Correct.
that
But
women,
a generalization can include exceptions, which I
Yeah.
said, for example, in the
because they're
case-
emotional.
For example, in the case of Nina, as a friend of mine, she's a PhD in history, geopolitics, translates foreign languages. I mean, she's an outlier in terms of a domain that's typically male dominated. I think there's a reason why STEM courses and things like that are dominated by men, geopolitics, because that's the
I
domain
think-
that men are better fitted for.
I think in general, every human being is different. Some are more emotional than others. In general, doesn't matter what's between your legs, in my opinion. Some people are smarter than others. Some people are more capable than others. Some people are stronger than others. There's plenty of women that would kick my ass. And I said that to Myron Gaines, who was
Yeah,
a
but these are all
misogynist pig.
exceptions. These are all exceptions, bro.
Okay, but you're making a generalization. You don't believe any women should be politicians.
But you're trying to make a generalization
they should be in the
based
kitchen.
on the exceptions, and I'm doing the opposite.
Okay, but every single human being is different. And I don't speak for women, but some
Well, the
women
fact
choose.
that there's still generalizations,
Okay, but
though.
some women don't want to have kids. Some women don't want to be moms. Some women put their career
But none
first.
of those were relevant to what you asked me was the best fit, generally speaking.
I mean, listen, going back to my original statements earlier, I don't like government involvement in our lives. I
Mhm.
don't. That's my biggest criticisms of religion, is that too many people tell other people I'm right and you're wrong. No, my religion is right and your religion is wrong.
But don't you think in this debate, you think you're right?
When it comes to what, religion? I think
All the
anybody.
all the positions.
Okay,
that you
well,
argued.
let's talk about religion.
I'm just saying, like, you
I
don't
think-
believe that about yourself?
What do you
or-
mean?
Don't you believe that all your positions are correct? You're doing the very thing that you're
When it
trying
comes
to say.
to when it
I believe, let me put it this way. I believe everybody's religious, even you. You have a religious commitment to your positions. You just don't believe that it's a God. You're basically just your own God. And you're saying that all my positions are what I say. And that's my opinion. And I
but I'm not
dictate it.
forcing it down your throat. I'm not making law.
You don't
about
have to
it. I'm not-
physically force things.
I'm not trying to convince you. I'm telling you my opinions of how I
course you
feel.
are. You're
You're
trying,
telling
you're trying to
half-
convince the audience.
You're telling half the. I'm not trying to convince anybody. You're telling.
Of course you
you're.
are.
No, I'm not.
So you're coming to a
made that very
debate.
clear.
You're coming to a debate, not to debate.
Okay. I'm coming to a debate or discussion to tell you how I feel about different topics,
that's
how
a
I might
feminine
agree
thing.
or
How
disagree
you
with
feel
you.
about it's a very feminine
Okay.
thing.
Well, that's fine. You can call me. I
I'm
guess.
just joking. I'm
I
just
guess
joking.
Jay thinks I'm in the kitchen. Then I guess I'm not. Jay, I got bad news for you.
He's
I'm not
right,
cooking
though.
you dinner tonight.
He's like,
but,
I'm just joking. He's
Ron,
not
you're
joking.
not going to make a sandwich.
everybody is different. Every human being is different. Everybody has different skills.
Well, what does that have to do with what I argued?
Because you're making a generalization
Sure.
about women, how they
Right.
should all be in the
Yeah.
kitchen, and I find that to be extremely misogynistic.
Well,
I think it's wrong.
generalizations are not again on your wrong. It's on your basis.
The
it's not
women
even
in
wrong.
your life, and I'm just making.
Mhm.
If you tell them, I think you all belong in the kitchen. What would they say to you if you said that?
How is that relevant to?
I
it's
just
another
wanna
emotion-
know.
It's another emotional appeal.
Because I'm curious.
this is an emotional appeal again.
Okay, but
That's
I
all-
want to know the people in your life, your
That's
mom
all they are.
or-
It's all
or
it is.
sister, whoever. When you say, "Hey, you guys shouldn't be
No,
politicians,"
my mom was an outlier. Actually, she was a very qualified editor of scientific journals.
I
So
think
she's an
that's
outlier.
great. I think that's great.
Mhm.
So why can't other people like your mom, who I'm sure was a
Well,
nice person?
in this society, they can, but that doesn't mean that it's the best for society. So the question was, what's the best for society? Not can they actually physically do it? So that's two different
So you
things.
think it's best for society to get all the brain surgeons and the teachers and the politicians and every
And I
woman.
didn't say all. I said generalizations. Typically, it's not the best for society for women to have what are classically male-oriented positions and jobs.
Wouldn't that be a case-by-case basis based on the person?
No, if you're asking me about what's generally better for society.
What about the individual? Does that
Well,
matter too?
in
What's
this-
best for the individual?
Well, I have a Christian ethic and belief, so I think that that's the best for society and for individuals.
So I would assume you think that gay people are all sinners. You're against gay marriage because of your religion.
Well, I believe that those are actions, not a state of being or an identity.
So you think everybody chooses?
And he was just waiting to bring up that thing. Like, all he's doing is he's just saying, I'm offended. I'm offended. I can't believe you believe this. I can't believe it. And it's like, man, please just have an argument on why Jay Dyer is wrong. That's all. Just give us an argument. And that's what I love watching when I'm covering Brian Shapiro. It's low-hanging fruit. You know what I mean? It's low-hanging fruit. He's a straight up lolcow. bundles and bundles of entertainment simply because you're going to watch this. He's not going to give one argument at all. And he's in media. He has his own radio show in Las Vegas. And he's one of my biggest inspirations, because if somebody like him could be in media, a guy like me could too. So thank you so much, Brian Shapiro.
Just to be gay. You think Richard Simmons was born straight? Because I think that's ridiculous.
Are you saying he was gay?
So there are many people when they're 4 or 5 years old.
Liberal?
Well, it's like let's see real quick. Let's actually check this out. Was Richard Simmons gay? He was considered a gay icon, but he never, ever, ever came out as being gay. He was just a very flamboyant man. So remember, him saying that Richard Simmons was a gay man, that's him like he's kind of being a little homophobic there. He's being like, I don't know. I think that calling somebody gay that's never came out of the closet, couldn't that be pretty hateful?
I actually had a conversation. I actually had a conversation with George Santos about this the other day. We're actually friends, believe it or not. And George told me he knew he was gay when he was like 4 or 5 years old. Well, and it's not a choice. And I think a lot of people who are, because I talk to these people and they tell me and they're honest.
Well, that still wouldn't.
I talk to these people.
That's not how you would know that.
So Richard Simmons was born straight.
I'm just saying that. I'm saying that what you answered with would not prove the way that you know that.
Do you think being gay?
And how does he know that Richard Simmons wasn't born straight, and like later in life some type of trauma that diverted him off his normal path? Like the idea that children are born gay, it's just that's just an opinion. That has nothing to do with there's no evidence to say that children are born gay. There's zero evidence of that.
Is a choice.
Yes, there can be epigenetic.
So you think sometimes?
Let me finish. There can be epigenetic or societal factors that can influence people's proclivities. Sure, but I think there's still a degree of human volition involved.
Yeah. So let's go with that logic for a second. You think men in society who are once straight wake up one day and say, "Hey, I think I like penis now." That's the way you think it works? You think it's a choice like that?
There's probably in most cases a continual progression of moving in a certain direction. I don't think it happens overnight.
Okay. Again, I'm going to say
you're just a bunch of straw men. I never argued anything like that.
Well, here's another one for you. I believe that sometimes in society, people hide behind their religion to hide their bigotry. And when people judge somebody based on sexuality, or in this case, what's between their legs, I believe it's a form of bigotry. And you say, well, this is what my religion tells me. No, this is who you are. You decide to think that way. You decide to think that if
Why is that wrong, though, from his subjective worldview? Like, he doesn't have an inherent, like, moral structure. Everything's his own. It's all subjective. It's all what Brian came up with. So Brian couldn't even defend, like, even if that was the case, that Jay Dyer is just some hateful bigot, if that was even the case, he couldn't defend why that's wrong at all. He couldn't even defend. He has no grounding, zero grounding.
Somebody is different than you, I assume you're straight. If somebody is different, I
decide this, but gay people don't.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, if
I just told you,
you're agnostic. Couldn't everything be conditioned then?
There are people who are gay.
Could I be conditioned to believe?
There are people who are.
Could I be conditioned to my religion?
Could you be? I don't know. I have no idea.
So why would I be held guilty or accountable on your worldview?
Because when I talk to people about homosexuality,
but you don't even understand the argument I'm making. If it's genetic, if it's genetic with gay people, and if my religion is genetic, then why am I guilty and gays aren't? In your
you think religion is genetic?
I'm saying if that's the case, in your view,
religion is genetic. Religion is a choice.
Do you not understand the word?
I do. Religion is a choice.
If people are born gay, then people are born Christian too.
Because sexuality is different than religion. You see, for example,
why can't I be conditioned? You're an atheist, right? Or an agnostic?
No, I'm not.
You're an agnostic, right?
I believe that there's a higher power.
Okay, but
it goes back to what I said earlier.
But if I'm raised in religion from my earliest days, being taught about, say I'm baptized as an infant, let's say I'm brought up in Sunday school from the age 4 or whatever. Yeah. Why would I not be conditioned in the same way?
First of all, I believe that's wrong. My worldview on that
that's not the question.
Second of all,
why would it be any different?
Here's why.
In your
because
view?
I think most people who are gay would tell you. And by the way, I am a straight man. I don't speak for gay people, but I think most people gay would tell you it's a little bit different.
The fact that again,
hold on. It's a little bit different to switch a religion or say, by the way, I know people in my life One woman who was a pastor, she's now an OnlyFans model. She's a great person.
None of this is answering
Hold
the
on.
question.
She made a choice to get out of that lifestyle and that religion and go live her life.
Okay.
Most people who are gay would tell you it's not just a snap of the finger. If you're born, I believe, gay and you want to turn straight.
So those choices are conditioned and they're not actual free will
Stella doesn't
choices.
like Brian
Do you not
Shapiro.
believe in
She started
biology?
barking at him.
You're not even letting me finish it because this is a killer for your argument. And I never even noticed this until literally in this debate. So you can be conditioned to believe or to have those proclivities. But even though I go through the exact same situation, I'm guilty for the choice that I made for the religion, which is identical to the conditioning, according to you.
No. It's not.
Well,
Here's
so,
what I think you're guilty
why
of.
is one of them free will and the other one not?
I'm going to be very clear again. Here's where I think you're guilty of. And this goes for any religion and anybody. When you judge somebody.
What's wrong with judging?
Okay. I think it's wrong to judge people.
Oh, well, that's great, but your
Hold on.
ethics are relative.
Okay. So when you judge an entire group of people because they are different than you because of the way they look or their sexuality, that is what bigotry is.
What's wrong with being a bigot?
Well, I think that makes you an asshole if you're a bigot.
Well, but I mean, those are just your own personal
Okay. Well, you're right. Bigots are great people.
So
Again, he just said what would be wrong with that? And he just says, well, I just think you're an asshole. It's like that's still not an argument. It's just not an argument. It's like talking. This is like talking to your 80-year-old like liberal aunt. You know what I mean?
personal
That's a great
taste.
argument.
No, I'm just saying
Bigots
that
are no, you're right. Bigots are wonderful people. I shouldn't judge bigots.
this
You're
is
right.
why philosophy is good, because
Yeah.
if you learn philosophy, you
This
won't
is
make
why
that
religion
argument.
is
Yeah, see, and he's being complete. Yes, you should know some fundamentals of debate, especially if you're going to get into that kind of get into that realm, you know. And that's the craziest part. Is like I know a little bit about basketball, right? But I'm not going to go and say, hey, I'm going to go play a pro game of basketball. Now imagine if you didn't even know anything about basketball. You didn't know the rules. You didn't know how to dribble. But yet you're about to go toe to toe with LeBron James. That's what this guy loves doing. He's debated some of the best debaters in that realm, and this is how it always ends up: complete embarrassment, complete decimation.
bad because
But
he's
I didn't
trying
make-
to defend.
I didn't make a
bigots.
I never made a religious argument. All I said was that
When you
there's no difference
judge,
between.
why is it so hard for you to admit
But
that when
if
you
my
judge?
judgments are my conditioning, then I'm not morally accountable on your worldview.
Doesn't the Bible say not to judge?
If your worldview is correct,
No, it does not say that. It says to judge righteously. It does not say for nobody to ever judge. That would be what he's trying to. He's asserting what the Bible says. Never read it. Not a Christian, and trying to tell. Doesn't the Bible? No, it doesn't. It says, don't judge unrighteously. Don't just don't judge people by just the way they look. But yeah, judgment is something that God gave us. It's logos. It's pattern recognition. We're supposed to understand this.
Does the Bible say
if
not
your
to judge?
worldview is correct, my choices are my conditioning, so I'm not liable
Jay,
or accountable.
Does the Bible say not to judge?
It says judge with righteous judgment.
Yeah, exactly. So you think this is righteous? Taking all group of people?
Yeah, because
and
I
judging them?
have a consistent
No.
basis to judge actions, not the people group.
I believe God
you
judges.
don't have a basis.
I believe God can
What
judge
God?
people.
What
I don't
God?
know what God. Whatever God you. The
Then
tooth
how would you
fairy,
know
I
he
don't know.
judges
Donald
people?
Trump
Then how
might
would
be
you
your
know he
God. I don't
judges?
know.
Then how would you know he judges people?
Okay. Well, it's a saying. Okay. But I
So
will
it's
tell you
not a
this.
real
I
God,
don't
it's
even
a
know if
saying?
God exists.
It's a
I don't know.
saying.
And
It's
you
a
need to
saying.
know.
How do you know he judges?
He just
people?
brought.
you.
He just brought it up. It's just a saying now. It's just a saying now. Like again, the backpedaling, the deflection. It's crazy. It's crazy.
What's wrong to judge
I made
people?
a statement as what you would say a joke.
How do you know
but-
that nobody knows that God exists? How do you know that?
We don't know for sure. Nobody
But
knows.
now it's a universal claim. How do you know that no one knows?
Where's your evidence that God exists?
How do you know that I didn't make a universal claim. You did. How do you know that no one knows?
There is no direct evidence that there is a God.
But
that
how do you
exists.
know that no one
Because
knows?
no one's presented it. That's
So
why.
do you know what a universal claim is?
Yes, nobody's
What?
presented it.
What's a universal claim?
Universal claim is what I just said.
Which is what?
Nobody has direct evidence that God exists.
And it's what? About all states, all people at all times. It's
Yeah.
a universal claim.
Sure.
Do you have access to universal states of affairs?
If you disagree with me, then tell me your evidence that
Do
God
you have
exists.
access to universal
Again,
states of affairs?
Give me your evidence that God exists.
Do you?
You could make.
So
you
it's a
could play word
two-quote
games
way.
with me.
So
Tell me
all
your evidence.
philosophical questions are word games, even though you admitted that the law of non-contradiction
Does God
is
exist,
not
Jay?
a word game.
Your Christianity does God
course.
exists, right?
Of
Okay.
course, that the law of non-contradiction
Does God
is
exist,
not a
Jay?
word. access to universal states of affairs?
If you disagree with me, then tell me your evidence that
Do
God
you have
exists.
access to universal
Again,
states of
word
affairs?
game.
Give me your evidence that God
Philosophy
exists.
is word games.
You could make.
So
you
it's a
could play word
two-quote
games
way.
with me.
So
Tell me
all
your evidence.
philosophical questions are word games, even though you admitted that the law of non-contradiction
Does God
is
exist,
not
Jay?
a word game.
You're
It's a word game. Philosophical questioning is it's word games. Fallacy, when you call out a fallacy, word games.
Christianity. Does God
course.
exists, right?
Of course.
Where's your evidence that God
The
exists?
transcendental argument.
Oh, I see. Okay, so that's direct evidence.
Yeah, it's a logical argument. Sure.
And hell and heaven exist, right?
Yes,
Yeah. Where's your evidence of that too?
because it's part of the worldview.
Gotcha. So your worldview, you know for sure. And if I
have
say,
the highest degree of
and if I say,
certitude that one could have.
okay, you can have the highest degree. It doesn't make it true, but
I didn't say it.
And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you guys, if anybody out there doesn't know, his backup for his grounding for God existing, his backup for grounding of that God existing is called the transcendental argument for God, TAG. So I don't know if you guys ever heard this, but I'm going to go over it real quick. It posits that God's existence is the necessary precondition for the intelligibility of human experience, specifically logic, morality, and science. It argues that without a divine rational mind, absolute laws of logic, and universal moral standards, they could not exist. Therefore, God must exist for reasoning to be possible. So one more time, the transcendental argument for God posits that God's existence is the necessary precondition for the intelligibility of the human experience, specifically logic, morality, and science. It argues that without a divine rational mind, absolute laws of logic and universal moral standards cannot exist. Therefore, God must exist for reasoning to be possible. And you can go through this as core aspects of this argument. But again, this is what people would say is, hey, when somebody asks for proof of God, just look up that and go over it and understand, go over this, level it up a little bit. It's not always about sports. It's not always about anime. Like, you know what I mean? Do something different. We're not supposed to be as low tier as we are now. Men today are, especially men. Now, I'm holding women and men to different, to literally put them on different pedestals and holding them, just holding them up differently. So with men and women, but men today, you ask a man, be like, hey, could you give me like a mission statement for the two parties that are in control of your everyday life? They'll be like, what? I'm like, yeah, just give me the difference of what a Republican and what a Democrat is. What's the difference between them? And they're stun locked. And then you could ask them, hey, how far did that guy with the ball in the sports match or sports game? Give me some stats. And they'll be like, oh, and they'll give you all the numbers. And it's like, that's the psyop right there. Come on, guys, wake up, get off the video games, read a book, just do something, because the men that are out here tend to be, pretty low tier, man.
We don't know if heaven or hell exists.
Right,
I
that's
don't
great,
know.
but
You don't know.
But you,
and for you to make that claim, I think is insane.
But you made the claim that you have universal knowledge that no one knows that, and you can't know that even on your own position. So you're going out of the bounds of what you can even do on your world.
There is no more evidence that God exists.
That's great
Bigfoot.
that you keep saying that, but
I'm sorry,
you
don't have the evidence.
No, but I didn't make the claim that no one knows. You did.
Your entire life is based on your religion.
Did you say no one knows?
Your entire life is based on your religion, which I think is a fairy tale.
That's
quite
great.
Frankly,
that's great, but you haven't given an argument for the.
I have actually
the fairy tale that you believe in, like free will.
I have actually.
What's the proof?
You
of free will?
have the freedom to believe in what you want to believe in. I'm not denying you that.
But if I go with Sam Harris or Daniel Dennett, maybe I'm just conditioned to think I have free will and all choices are determinist.
Again, you have.
How do you know that free will exists?
What do you mean? You have.
How do you know that it exists?
Right now,
because you believe in metaphysical things that you can't justify. Okay. You want me to justify? So, listen, there's the problem with saying to a theist that you have to justify it. You believe in logic, universals, things that you can't justify, like free will.
So Jay,
you're not going to answer that.
I'm going to answer it.
Do you believe in free will?
I'm going to answer it the way I want to. Okay.
Okay. It has to be a good answer.
You have the freedom. Well, in your
It's not going to be a good
no,
answer.
in anybody's. That's how a debate works.
No,
Okay.
Jay,
Well, if you want to use fallacies, you can
Jay,
do that.
I
Sure.
understand. I understand how a debate works, Jay. Just because you've been doing it for 25 years doesn't mean you have to be
So
condescending.
what's free will?
I understand that there's a lot of people on the left that are very nice to you when you debate them, and you're very condescending. That doesn't work with me. So you don't have to do that.
Just asking
I've
you
been
what free
very
will
respectful
is.
to you considering the circumstances.
I'm just asking what free will is.
And I'm asking you to let me answer
Okay.
in the way I want to answer it respectfully. You have the free will, I'll use your terminology, to believe in what you want to believe in. You have the free will to believe in your God, your religion. I usually don't get along very well with extremely religious people.
Mhm.
I have almost nothing in common with some of these people. I think it's a mental illness. That's my opinion.
Mhm.
Now, if you form and live your life based on your religion, you have the right to do that. But nobody knows if there's heaven or hell. You
But how
don't
do you know
know.
that?
You
just
don't
keep
know.
saying
You're
that.
making the case that there's a heaven or hell. I'm not making that case.
I didn't-
What I'm saying, Jay, is that there
your
might be.
argument for a
Jay,
universal claim.
Jay, I'm saying that there might be heaven or hell. I don't
No,
know.
that's not what you said.
No.
You said
Hear
no
me.
one knows. Those are
Okay.
two different claims.
I don't know. That's the way I answer.
You
it. I
said
don't
no
say-
one knows, and now you're saying I don't know. Those are two different
Nobody
claims.
knows. Nobody
so now
knows.
it's universal.
Nobody
You keep
knows
going
for
back and
sure.
forth.
Jay, there might be heaven and hell. I
So
don't
is
know.
it-
I don't
Is
know.
it I don't
And
know
neither
or
do
no?
you.
Is it I don't know or
Nobody
no one
knows. Nobody knows. Nobody can provide me direct evidence that
understand
heaven or hell
that
exists. Nobody can.
In philosophy, those are two different claims. So which one is it?
Nobody on the planet that's a human being.
Okay. How do you know that nobody
Because nobody's
knows?
presented direct evidence. That's why.
That's not
Yes.
a proof that no one knows.
Yeah.
That just means that in your limited experience empirically, you've never verified.
That's proof for Brian Shapiro. Like, listen to these arguments, man. Do not be this guy. Dude, do not be this guy.
That.
If
So you
you-
don't actually know if no
You-
one knows.
Okay, if you know for sure that
So
there's
you're
a-
asserting things that you don't know.
Somebody would have to present clear and present evidence
But the fact that
that
they haven't
Satan exists.
but the
that
fact
heaven
that
and
they
hell
haven't
exists.
done it yet doesn't mean that you know that no one knows.
Then nobody has provided evidence, which means nobody.
So
knows
your
for sure.
argument is a bad argument
Okay,
because you
so
can't
help me
justify the
understand.
universal
So
claim.
Jay, help me understand. Then you believe that heaven and hell exist. Can you provide me some
I'm
evidence?
waiting for you to give a good argument.
Okay, I just did.
No, you didn't.
So I'm asking. Prove me
you
wrong right now,
contradicted.
Jay. Prove me wrong right now. You're a Christian.
Mhm.
You believe that heaven and hell exists.
Mhm.
Give me direct evidence right now in your belief
Mhm.
that heaven and hell exist, please.
The argument is the impossibility of the contrary. Your worldview doesn't make sense of knowledge.
My question
doesn't
wasn't
make
about
sense
world.
And he doesn't understand that. He just used the impossibility of the contrary. That shit went over Brian Shapiro's head, his bald head, and his dumbass hat.
of ethics.
Hold on, Jay.
The argument
Jay,
is a
Jay,
worldview argument.
Jay, my question
The
wasn't about.
transcendental
Jay,
argument is a worldview
Jay,
argument.
My question wasn't about worldviews. I'll ask it again.
My argument is a worldview argument. So
Okay.
when you ask me the question, I'm
So
going to
from
respond with
religion.
worldview.
Based on religion. So based on your worldview,
I
what is
believe
it?
that logic is based in
Right.
religion.
Okay. So give me that.
The impossibility of the contrary is a cornerstone argument of presuppositional apologetics, largely popularized by Dr. Greg Bosson and rooted in Cornelius Van Til's work. It argues that the Christian worldview is true because any opposing non-Christian worldview, if followed consistently, leads to irrationality, absurdity, or self-contradiction. So this is the stuff that Jay Dyer came armed with, and Brian Shapiro came armed with that hat.
That logic. What is your evidence that would lead you to believe from
The
your
evidence
worldview?
is a logical argument called the transcendental argument. That is the argument.
Okay. It's just a belief. I believe in the tooth
No, it's
fairy.
not. It's a
Yeah,
logical
my
argument.
worldview tells me the tooth
It's-
fairy exists.
Well, you
It's what
believe
my
in free
religion
will,
tells
but
me.
you don't have a basis for
My
any idea
religion
what it is.
my religion
You
tells
kept
me
appealing to free will and
my
choice.
religion tells me that when I lose a tooth, I'm going to get $100
So in
underneath my
philosophy,
pillow.
if you took a philosophy class, you would learn that free will is a metaphysical position that a lot of philosophers and atheists, I'm not saying you're an atheist, but people like Daniel Dennett or Sam Harris, they don't believe in free will.
So hold on. Let's
So
start
I'm
over.
just trying to say that you're
Let's start
asserting things like free will
You
that
are-
you don't have a
Okay,
basis for.
So hold on. It'll be 30 seconds here. You are making the case, in your opinion, based on your
No, I didn't argue opinion.
hold on worldview, that heaven and hell exists.
Mhm.
My opinion is I don't know.
But that's
None of
not what
us
you
do.
said.
Okay.
You said
I've
no
said
one
that-
knows, which is not
okay,
an opinion.
yeah.
That's a universal
No
claim.
one knows for sure whether heaven
That's
or hell
a
exists.
universal claim.
Okay, so Jay,
versus an opinion.
Tell
Those are
me
two
where
different
you're
things.
getting this from your worldview. Give me some evidence that heaven and hell exist.
The
You
evidence
can't.
is the logical argument called the transcendental argument.
Which
so
is-
there's not all. So evidence is not just like a physical object. There are logical arguments that are non-physical that are also evidences. That's what you're missing in what I'm arguing.
So again, I go back to what I said earlier, and this is my issue with religion in general. Every religion.
But you're a religious person, Brian.
Huh?
You're religious.
I never said I was a religious person.
No, you're rabidly religious about things like free will, which you have no basis for.
I'm not a religious person, and I don't believe in the tooth fairy, and
But
I don't live my
make-
life.
Brian Shapiro is definitely religious. It's his own religion. You know what I mean? Like if you watch his radio show, that's all it is. He's literally just pushing his own the religion of Brian Shapiro. I'm offended, and you're a bigot, and you're a misogynist, and you're a racist. That's his religion. He thinks everybody should think just like him. That's his religion.
Life based on a
But-
religion.
Free will is like
I live my life based
free
on
will is the same thing as the tooth fairy.
I
The
live my-
tooth fairy
Okay.
and the free will are the same.
Yeah. I live my life based on the way I was raised, the way my parents raised me,
But none of that.
and I don't
that-
hide
none of those
behind a
things are
religion.
arguments.
I don't hide
Those
behind.
are assertions.
I don't hide behind a religion attacking all gay people, which I believe that
This
is
is
an
an
attack,
emotional appeal.
or attacking. Yeah, you're right. It's emotional. Just judging entire groups of people, which it says don't to do in the Bible. You're judging.
It's not. He keeps bringing up the Bible. That never said that. It never said in the Bible not to judge groups of people. It never says this at all. And then he's talking about homosexuality. Well, in the Bible, there's a pretty big judgment on homosexuality in the Bible. And hopefully everybody knows this, but maybe Brian Shapiro doesn't. But in the Bible, it's pretty clear that there's a judgment on homosexuality and homosexuals in the Bible. Matter of fact, there was a whole group, a whole city called Sodom, where every man, small and little, was a sodomite. And God judged them. They were judged. They got judged.
No, what you said was an emotional.
All
appeal.
women are more emotional, or gay
These are
people are
emotional
sinners.
appeals.
No, these are judgments on large groups of people
No,
that you're
your
making.
argument right now is an emotional appeal, not the statements.
You are making judgments
Correct.
about groups of
Yeah, but there's
people
nothing
because they're
wrong
not
with that
like
in my
you.
world. You just don't like it.
No, I just think you hide behind your religion to,
Well, okay,
to
but-
defend your
But
bigoted.
that's not a good
bigotry.
argument. That's an ad hominem
No,
about my
no,
motives.
it's not. I think you
It
hide.
is.
I think people like
The
you.
fact that
He doesn't get it. He doesn't understand this. It's all ad homs and just righteous indignation. And he's not righteous. He's not a righteous guy. So to be rolling around morally like, oh my God, I'm so offended. It's not. It's like where do you get off like telling other people what they can and can't do? He's hanging out with OnlyFans prostitutes and in hot tubs and hitting up women's inboxes and calling them all types of things. Like, yeah, it's insane. He'll say something like, you shouldn't call people retarded, but then call somebody retarded because they're conservative.
you think that I'm doing something for bad motives is
Yes,
a
I do.
ad hominem motive argument, which is not relevant to a
When
debate.
you judge an entire group
What's
of people,
wrong with judging people?
it's called bigotry, and you don't think
But
there's
so what?
so. There
In
you
your
go.
worldview,
there you go.
In your
There
worldview,
you
these
go.
things are all subjective
There you
anyway.
go. If it's okay,
In your view, it's subjective.
in your view, it's okay to be a bigot. In your view, it's okay
but
to
that's
judge
not
people.
inconsistent in my view.
No, you're right. You're consistently a bigot. That's
But
what
that's
you are.
not inconsistent in my view for a
We
debate.
could use word games.
Your position is inconsistent because
No,
you
I'm
have
very
ethical.
consistent.
No,
I'm
you're not.
very consistent.
No,
I'll
not
explain
at all.
once again. No, I'm extremely consistent.
Okay.
I don't judge people based on sexual
Okay.
orientation. I don't judge people based on color of skin, sexual
Right.
orientation, or gender. I would never tell somebody
No,
that doesn't
the
look
logic
like
is inconsistent.
I would never tell
Not
somebody that doesn't look like me
Not that.
you belong in the kitchen. It's a
the
bigoted point of
basis
view.
for your position is what's inconsistent, not the position.
What, having a moral compass and caring about all people?
Yeah. What's the moral compass?
Yeah. Not telling other people what to do
Yeah,
with
but
their
why is that wrong?
lives. Because you're a bigot. You tell other people
So
what to
that's
do.
a circular argument. It's a fallacy.
You make assumptions about people because they're not like you and they don't look like you.
I know that you don't
It's
like
terrible.
that. That's great. I understand that it's not preferable.
Yeah, most
You
people don't.
like it.
Most decent
That's
people
another
don't like that.
fallacy. That's a massive.
It's a
fallacy.
fallacy.
It is
Okay,
correct.
okay.
So in logic,
So all women belong in the kitchen. All gay people are sinners. They're all bad because it's my worldview. Because I
everything-
hide behind my Christianity.
You could
I
say-
know that
again,
heaven and hell are
you
real.
haven't given a basis for why any of that's wrong.
I've given a very simple basis. You
Yeah, but
judge
it's
people,
not, it's not a
Jay.
good philosophical
Jay,
argument.
I don't care whether you think it's
Well,
philosophical.
you're
or not.
judging me.
You're
You're judging me right now.
I'm judging you right now. You have the right to
You
think
judge
the way
that it's
you
wrong
think.
to be a bigot.
You think
You judge that it's wrong to be a bigot.
when you judge a group of people based on their
You
sexual
judge all
orientation.
Christians as bigots.
No, I don't. Because not all Christians think like you.
Okay, but what's wrong with being a bigot and judging people to be
Do
a
you-
bigot when
do-
you don't have a basis for
Do
your
you
ethics?
understand that there are
You
plenty
don't
of,
have a basis
there
for your
are-
ethic.
there
It's
are-
subjective,
there are
Brian. That's
plenty
the
of-
kill
there,
shot.
there is no kill shot here. That's like
Your
a kill-
ethics is admittedly
is the
subjective
kill
and
shot.
relativist, and then you make it universal.
No,
That's a
I'm
contradiction.
not. You are just made
You
a
did.
case
You
that
said
I'm
no
putting-
one knows.
I'm painting all Christians as this. I never said that. There are plenty of Christians.
Is
that
it
would call you a
universally
bigot as
wrong to be
well.
racist and a bigot?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I do.
But your ethics is subjective and relative. That's a contradiction.
I don't think it's subjective at all. I think
You already
I think
argued
it-
for the first
I
hour
think
it's subjective and
I
relative.
think it comes down.
You
to-
argued that.
Well, you'll disagree with this, but I think it comes down
You're
to
debating
something-
yourself.
I think
Like,
no, I'm not.
You said
I
your
think you're
ethics was
making yourself. I think
Did
you're
you
making
not
yourself
say-
look really bad.
Did you not say your ethics was
in this
subjective?
in this in
You
this
said it in the first hour.
in this conversation?
You said it multiple times. The
You're
first
right.
hour, your ethics is
Not
relative and
everybody
subjective.
thinks murder is bad. Not everybody thinks rape is bad. So
Your
you're right. I guess
position
that's subjective
was
too.
admitted. Okay, thank you. So it's subjective.
So if somebody says
Then
to
it's
you,
not universally wrong.
if you said
Then it's not universally wrong to be a
if
racist
you-
or bigot.
If you said to me, no, there are people out there that think racism is okay. I don't deny that. Okay, but
Universal doesn't mean are
Okay.
there people who
Listen,
do otherwise.
if I
It means
said
the
to you,
ought.
this is
It
how
means
stupid
ought
this
from-
this is how stupid this argument is. If I said
It's
to you
not
right
stupid.
now,
It's an ought from
no,
an
I think
is.
it's stupid. If I said to you
So
right
we don't
now,
have to have a
that-
basis for
I think
ethics.
it's very stupid. If I said to you that
If we
racism,
don't have a basis
if I
for
said to you
ethics,
that
then the debate's
rape
over.
is bad, you would
I have
probably-
a basis for why it's bad. You don't.
Oh, I don't have a basis to why bigotry
Not
is
a
bad?
consistent basis. No.
Have you seen?
And again, this goes back to subjective and objective morality. And yeah, he doesn't understand this. He just says this is bad. Jay Dyer asked why, and he says because it just is. And it's like, well, why? Because it is. But why? Because it
Seen
is.
slavery? You know what that was? That bad?
What?
When people judged others based on their skin color and owned human
How is
beings?
that relevant to the ethics of
Uh,
rape?
well, first of all, I'm just giving you a general term.
You just
and
keep
I'm giving
saying
you-
things are bad because these things happened, and that doesn't get you to an ought. That's why philosophy matters. You
Okay.
need a better argument
So
or a
you're-
basis for why something's
so
wrong.
you need a better argument,
Mhm.
but yet you're the guy who says Trump won the 2020 election. You need a better argument, Jay says, but yet all women
that
should
was
be in the
just
kitchen.
a suspicion.
It's just for me, it's just a suspicion, Jay. I just have a suspicion.
Well, if you want to argue that
Yeah.
your ethics is based on suspicions,
it's
then
suspicion.
that's
Yeah, just-
okay.
I'll use
then
your
that's
stupid.
a bad
I'll use your
argument.
stupid defense and arguments, and I'll turn it right back on you. But the
Well,
point
I don't
being-
have to have the same
the point
justification for every
No,
position
you're
from
justifying-
politics to religion.
you're justifying all women.
So
you're
ethics is a
you're-
philosophy domain.
okay,
Politics
okay,
is something
okay,
I don't really
okay.
care
You can-
about.
again, you're taking entire groups of people and all women.
But
they
there's
shouldn't
nothing
do
wrong
this,
with
this,
that.
and this. Well, yeah, I think it makes you a bigot.
There's nothing universally
I think it's
wrong.
very wrong with
That's
that.
great that you think that, but
Very
it's
wrong
not
with that.
universally wrong.
And
And
I
also,
can't-
by the way, I'm just conditioned by determinism to believe it. So what's wrong with that?
I think you hide behind your religion to hide your bigotry.
I'm
I do.
actually giving you atheist lines of argumentation. No, you're not an atheist,
So
but I'm
atheists-
saying that
So
if
atheists think
most-
that all women belong in the kitchen.
I'm
Most
talking about
Christians don't think
determinism.
that either. By the
I'm
way,
talking about determinism and the idea that there's free will. You believe in a metaphysical.
And for all the new subscribers, I appreciate it so much. It means more than you guys even know. I've worked really hard on this, and yeah, I appreciate it so much. So thank you so much. And this is early. I just started doing this. I just built this. It took me a while to do it, but I just built this out. I just learned all this new technology just to make this work. And hopefully you guys will be there from the very beginning. You know, I'm known for doing street interviews and man on the street debates and things like that. And I really want to get into this space. So I already have like 6,000 followers on YouTube, but that's just for my shorts. So I'm trying to get into the long form, the live streams, and I kind of just want to get into this space. And my goal is not to get rich. My goal is not to get famous. My goal is to completely just destroy degeneracy and to push back on these false belief systems and make the ridiculous ridiculous. That's my goal, man.
Physical fiction that you can't justify if your agnostic worldview is true, called free will.
Other than using your word games,
would you agree that Daniel Dennett and Sam Harris believe that there's no free will, that a lot of philosophers
I haven't
believe
talked
that?
to them. I don't
okay,
know.
but they do believe
I don't
right?
know that. I haven't talked to them. I
Okay,
don't know.
many
I have no knowledge of
philosophers,
that.
many philosophers do not believe in free will. They
Okay,
think it's
that's
a
fine.
metaphysical fiction.
Fine.
So it's like the tooth
Many
fairy.
bigots don't think that
It's
women
like
should be in the
tooth-
kitchen.
it's
So
like
what?
the tooth fairy. So I want to know, why should I believe in free will but not God, in your view?
You can believe whatever you want.
In your view.
In my view, when you judge an entire, I've said this like 10 times.
How is that an answer to the
When you-
question I just asked you? You're not even listening to the question.
I'm listening to you, and I'm amazed.
If free will is equated to the tooth fairy in
Yes.
most modern philosophy,
Yeah.
then I want to know, why is it free will any different than believing in God? It's a metaphysical claim.
You can. I'm not making that argument. You can believe what you want to believe.
You argue that free will
Jay,
makes me liable
Jay,
to believing and choosing
Jay,
religion
Jay,
versus gays who
Jay,
do not have a choice.
Jay,
You made the argument.
here's my argument.
You're
when
not
you take your
addressing
religion, Jay.
Your argument.
Jay, yes, I am.
No,
when
you're
you
not.
when you take your religion and you treat people differently in a
No,
negative
Brian,
way,
I'm asking you why
You're
I should
not
believe in free
listening
will.
to me.
Why do you believe in
we
free
can
will?
keep talking about free will, or you could listen to my
Well,
question.
you
which I
said
think
that's
is
what
more
makes me
prevalent and important.
liable
Jay,
for my religious
Jay,
beliefs.
Jay, just let me get this out. When you use your religion and treat people in a negative fashion because of it, okay, it's bad for society. Now, in this debate, you've talked about what you think is bad for society.
But you believe in,
Okay.
in tooth fairy things.
Okay. I was making a joke about that and how ridiculous
No,
your
I'm
argument
saying
was.
that
No,
it's equated to that. It's the
okay.
flying spaghetti monster.
He definitely believes in tooth fairy things.
Is
What I
free-
don't
free will
want,
is a flying
okay,
spaghetti
I
monster
understand
belief.
what you're saying, Jay, but in my society that
Why
I
should
would
I
like,
believe in free
Jay,
will, Brian?
Jay, you can believe whatever you want.
No, why should I believe in your worldview in free will?
I think if you're a decent human being, you probably should treat people with respect and dignity, regardless of whether they're
How is
gay
it
or
a
whether they're.
justification for free will?
Okay, I'm just telling you right now.
It's not a justification.
Well, I'm going to give you my justification.
Okay, but that's fine. But that's
I'm
not.
gonna
Okay,
give
well, that's
you-
not a good
I'm gonna
argument.
give you, well, in
That's
your
subjective.
in your opinion, it's not a good argument, but in
In
most,
logic, if you
okay,
make a subjective
in-
argument, it's not a good
in-
argument.
In your opinion, it's not a good argument.
Okay.
But in
Is
my
it your opinion and everything's opinion?
Excuse me? What?
Is it your opinion that everything is an opinion?
I don't think everything is opinion. There's fact and there's fiction that goes along with it. Like Trump didn't win the 2020 election. That's a fact. That's not an opinion, Jay. That's a
TDS.
fact. Trump did not win in 2020. So I think you're the one who can't spell the word fact. With that being said, when you take an entire, I know you're shaking your head. I know.
Like, what
I
is
know,
it?
it's not a
Doesn't even
fact.
make sense.
It's not a fact. No, it actually makes a lot of sense. The
No,
earth is
made
not
zero
flat,
sense.
Jay. And Donald Trump did not win the 2020
Did I argue
election.
there was what?
No, you were arguing that Trump, you think Trump won the 2020 election. So if you're going to talk to me about fact and
Totally
fiction,
straw man stuff that has
not a straw
no
man, it
relevance
just-
whatsoever.
it's actually completely
I
relevant.
never argued anything about the
It's-
physics of the earth. I
it-
asked you about free will,
I
and you had
understand.
no answer as
Again,
to what that is.
Again, you're missing the entire
You
point.
believe in fairy tale things. I'm just trying to figure out
What do I
why
believe in
why
that's
you
fairy
believe in
tale,
those
Jay?
things.
What
Free
do I
will.
believe? What do I believe that's fairy tale?
Free will.
Tell me what you think free will is, Jay. Give me
Well,
your
I
definition.
believe that we're made in God's image, and we have the ability to choose things freely,
Mhm.
morally good or evil, or this thing or that thing. That's what free will is. Now, I'm just trying to figure out, if you don't believe in fairy tale things like God, why is free will any different than a thing like God?
I never said I don't believe in God. What I said was,
But you
we
said,
don't
I don't know
know
if
for
there is
sure.
one. We don't know what it is.
I don't know whether there's a God.
But
or
you
not.
said my belief is, wait, you said what?
I never said that there's no God.
But then you said my position was fairy tale.
Well, what I'm saying is, when you make cases and you talk about
one is it?
homosexuality, and listen to me. When you
Well,
make
those are mutually exclusive claims.
when you make generalizations about people
Well, there's no
that are
wrong with that.
bigoted positions, well, I think there's something wrong
Well,
with that.
that's great, but you haven't given a moral basis for why it's universally wrong.
Are we not all created as equals, or is that not?
No.
We're not all created as equals.
I mean, am I equal to Kobe Bryant when it comes to physical abilities?
That's athletic ability.
Well, that would have to do with creation of our worldview. So
okay. Well, I thought we were all created as equals, but maybe
we're
I'm wrong
equal
on that.
before law, but not in physical abilities. We don't have
again-
all the same IQ.
Oh, and it's over with. And that is over. Thank you so much. I got some more Brian Shapiro stuff to get into. I think this is going to be funny too. Let's hear some more stuff.
Well, what it is what I read is that it's not going to be
My
a
bad,
manual.
my bad.
Like you're not have to.
Let's go. This is Brian exposes. This is his cope session. This is after the whole debate. This is how Brian Shapiro reacts to his absolute obliteration. So after he gets obliterated, this is his show that he does the next day on his radio show.
Popular on the right that debate for a living. And the debate I had the other day was a guy by the name of Jay Dyer. Now, I'll be honest with you, I had no idea who he was until like a week ago when I was asked to debate him. He's a guy that likes to debate about philosophy.
The idea that you don't know who Jay Dyer is, I can understand that. But you definitely, if you don't know who Jay Dyer is, you definitely don't know who Brian Shapiro is. This guy is literally a heel. He is a hack. They only bring him around to laugh at him. He has no recorded wins in a debate, and he doesn't even know the fundamentals of debate. You might see him pop up on Piers Morgan, but Piers Morgan brings him on there because of the Spurg Fest. They know that they're going to get views by the way he starts calling people racist, and he starts, the way he starts doing emotional appeals and basically crying. He cried in the debate against Rachel Wilson, like cried on stage. That's insane.
Philosophy. He likes to play word games, and he's a Trump supporter. But if you listen to the actual part of the debate where Jay Dyer and his fans don't really want to talk about, Dyer made a bunch of unbelievably misogynistic comments about women in general. And I want you to watch this because it goes to show you how so many of these people on the right are misogynist pigs. Jay Dyer doesn't believe that women should be allowed to have jobs or careers. Jay Dyer doesn't believe that a woman should ever be allowed to run for any office at all. This is the definition of a misogynist pig. And I want you guys to have a listen to this because it is unbelievable.
This women are emotional.
Women in politics because they're too emotional. He voted for Donald Trump, the guy who has nicknames for people he disagrees with, the guy who wakes up in the morning and puts on 8 layers of orange makeup, who is more insecure than a 12-year-old girl.
This guy wakes up every day and puts that dumbass hat on. He has multiple, look, Brian Shapiro has multiple colors and style, like not styles, but multiple colors of that hat. And he's going to be calling Donald Trump like insecure. Look at it. Yeah, like that's crazy. That is crazy. If my males, the men, if anybody in your gang rocks a hat like that, they got to go. They got to go. If any of my friends ever put on that hat and like try to be like, hey, this is seriously part of the ensemble, I'd revoke our friendship card quick. I couldn't do it. You look like a Reddit mod on purpose.
You wouldn't find somebody that is more emotional than Donald Trump. But yet Jay says women shouldn't be allowed to run for office because they're too emotional. How could anybody take anything that this guy says seriously?
Sorry, going to go through it, going to keep going through it. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to rewatch the debate. I just want to watch his reaction to it.
Answering the question, making, well, all politicians are not serious. Who's a more non-serious person, Kamala Harris or Donald Trump? Who is a more emotional person, Kamala Harris or Donald?
Did anybody think that Kamala Harris was a serious person with the coconuts and with the word salad? Did anybody take her as no? Nobody took Kamala Harris seriously. That's why she lost. That's why she got literally, she got dog walked in that last election.
Donald Trump. Obviously, anybody with an IQ over 20 that's not biased would say Donald Trump. Notice how he avoids those questions. So this guy doesn't think now that women should be serving, even if they had to pass the same physical standards that a man passes. He doesn't think that women should serve.
The exceptions don't make the norm. I mean, I think that's kind of common sense, that just because there are exceptions, we wouldn't want that to be the norm.
Fans are going to defend him no matter what he says. Women are made to be at home. Think about that statement for a moment. Think about that. Think of all the successful women out there. Forget about being politicians. There's plenty of successful women that have been politicians and still are. Think about all the women out there that are brain surgeons. Think about the women out there that are in law enforcement. Think about the women out there that save lives every day, work in hospitals. Think about the women out there that are professors, that are teachers. Think about the women out there that have extremely important jobs with a ton of responsibility. And again, this is the guy who still supports Donald Trump. But when I bring up the war in Iran, when I bring up tariffs, he doesn't want to talk about that. This guy has now said in this video that I'm playing for you that women shouldn't be allowed to serve, women shouldn't be allowed to have careers now, and women shouldn't be allowed to run for office. The misogyny just gets worse and worse by the second. Incredible. So voting is irrelevant. No wonder why this guy voted for Donald Trump. He doesn't think we should have a democracy. According to Jay Dyer, Mr. Philosophy expert, who some people in his clan think that he's an intelligent guy, which, by the way, I don't think he is. He doesn't think we should have elections. He doesn't think people should be allowed to vote. He wants us to live in an oligarchy. No wonder why he voted for Donald Trump. I mean, again, how do you take somebody like this seriously?
I don't think women.
Guy is such a misogynist pig. It's insane. But again, his followers believe this stuff too, because they're all misogynists as well. He doesn't believe that women should be allowed to be in the workplace.
That doesn't make you a misogynist. Misogyny is like you hating women. If you're saying that you put women and men on different pedestals, or maybe you see the outcome of women in the workplace, that doesn't make you a misogynist at all. Misogyny is hating women. And I know a lot of men that they like to get laid, and they don't hate women. They just separate women from men. Me personally, I think that we shouldn't be compared. I think we're apples to oranges, and we should never be compared. And that's why, maybe the world would consider me a misogynist, but if you sat down with me and broke down my worldview, I put women on a pedestal. I think women need to be protected. I think that women need to, be put on a pedestal. I don't want them in the workplace. I don't want them on the front line of war. I don't want them as cops. I don't want them, because it equals bad outcomes.
How do you take somebody like this seriously?
All right, I'm about to be over this Spurgfest. I
don't want to be associated.
Let's get into him. Let's get into him on how. Yeah, let's get into him. He's very respecting of women. He's very respectful of women. When he jumps in women's inboxes and calling them, sluts and all of this stuff, and he's very respectful. Let's see how he talks to this woman on his own radio show.
As certainly I am now. She's an independent journalist who says she stands up for the U.S. Constitution and freedom. And her name is Corrine Clifford, who joins us right now on the show. Corrine, I appreciate you coming on. How are you?
Hi, Brian. How are you? I'm sorry I'm a little bit late. I was in U.S. federal court.
Oh, that sounds
important. I cover all of the J6 trials. I also cover the trials of Christians being persecuted and prosecuted for standing up for pro-life.
Oh, he's not going to like this at all. If she is like standing up for this, he's just waiting for a chance to literally jump on her and call her the worst things ever.
And there's a sheriff's convention that I'm covering, so I'm always overwhelmed in Washington, D.C., but I know what's happening at the border, so I'm here to answer any of your questions.
Yeah, I definitely want to talk to you about border stuff, and I know you had a little, I guess you could call it run-in with Dan Crenshaw, who, by the way, I don't defend very much on this show, even though I do appreciate his service to this nation. All right, so since you just came out of a January 6th hearing, let me ask you this. Would you agree with me, before we get to where you were at, that there were some people on January 6th that did some very bad things, attacking police officers? There were some people that were convicted for some very violent crimes that they owned up to, and there were plea deals. Would you agree with me that there were a percentage of people that did some very bad criminal things that day? Is that fair?
No.
No. I mean, it's all about purview. It's all about the view you're viewing it from. I mean, I don't want to get too much into the January 6th stuff, because it kind of hits hard. It hits home. But I can tell you that that the police, they incited all of that. The police incited all of that.
So nobody attacked police officers that day?
No. The police attacked the people. There were a lot of feds, a lot of contractors for the feds in that crowd. 98% of the violence was caused by feds or police. No one should have been murdered that day. No police were murdered that day. 4 American patriots died that day. 2 were murdered by the police, and 2 died of heart attacks from the chemicals the police put in the air that day.
So the videos that I saw, and there's videos out there easy for access to everybody to see, of police being beaten with their own batons and being sprayed with pepper spray, officers screaming. Was that just made up? Were those actors, or I'm just confused, because while I agree that not everybody should have gone to jail. In fact, I had a woman on yesterday, Pam Hemphill, 70-year-old lady, nice lady. She made a mistake. I didn't think she deserved to go to jail for 2 months. But when I see the videos of officers being beaten with their own batons, and it's easy access if you want, it's out there. You're saying those people, I'm confused. Am my eyes lying to me? I mean, I'm confused.
I mean, you really need to read the U.S. Constitution, and I'm not being degrading or demeaning. I'm just saying the U.S.
I mean, it really, should I not believe my lying eyes when I seen people getting let into the building? When they were actually like getting walked into the building and they were opening up doors for people to go into? Like, that was the biggest setup. There was a reason for this. There was a coup at the time. And yeah, if people still believe the January 6th narrative, they haven't done the research on it. It was an absolute complete hoax. There was a lot of feds in the crowd, and I'm not going to say that the crowd did not react to getting pepper sprayed and getting beaten down by cops. They definitely did. But if the cops would have reacted like they do in, I don't know, in Portland and stuff like this wouldn't have happened. You know what I mean? The cops that were on January 6th did not react like the cops you see during the BLM riots. They didn't do that. They didn't just group up and stand there. No, they literally, they created that. It was a problem that they created.
U.S. Capitol is owned and controlled by the taxpayers.
That doesn't mean people can go into Nancy Pelosi's desk and defecate on her desk. It doesn't mean that people can damage the Capitol. It doesn't mean that people can commit violent acts and attack police.
He's so mad. So mad. I told you.
Officers. It doesn't mean that people could go in there and chant, "Hang Mike Pence." Yes, ma'am, I have read the Constitution, and the Constitution doesn't say you can go into the House chambers, break windows, steal property, and defecate on people's desks. No, it doesn't say that in the Constitution.
The people who broke the windows are high-level feds. It was a Fed setup. The people who went into Nancy Pelosi's office were allowed in by the police. The New York Times told most of them to do what they did for photo ops. I have interviewed these.
He just said it's not true. So, like, again, he wants us to only take like the riots and the people, the people fighting it back against the cops. He only wants to take that information. But the videos of them being let in to the Capitol, no, disregard that. Don't believe your lying eyes.
These people, I spent half my life now at the U.S. federal court. J6 was
and these people have been in prison for years. They had to get pardoned because they didn't even get a fair trials. They literally got 23-1 in prison. These people, there was old ladies that just walked into the Capitol because they got walked in, and they were doing months in actual prison. And they were like, how did I even end up here? It was shenanigans, complete shenanigans.
High-level setup by the feds. It's a Fedsurrection.
So where is the evidence that the feds set up January 6th? Like actual real evidence, not somebody just saying that.
I mean, I've interviewed so many people, so you'd have to look at all of my work on Instagram, on X. You'd have to look at all the hundreds of hours of shows I've done. How did you find me? How did you originally find me?
How did I find you? I saw a video of you at January 6th. No, I'm just kidding. That was a bad joke. No,
I wish I had been there. I wasn't there. My daughter had COVID, so I wasn't there, but I wish I had been there. I wish I had.
Why do you constantly, okay, so let me ask you this question. You said all January 6th insurrectionists are political prisoners. So you're not willing to admit to me today that anybody that was prosecuted in a court of law for what they did on January 6th, that everybody is innocent and not one person.
It's okay to think that. What's the problem? Why are you so offended by this? I mean, BLM, there's been, you have Antifa attacking government buildings for full summers. You know what I mean? Brett Kavanaugh hearing, like that kind of stuff, nobody heard about that. That would be considered an insurrection. When they take over full city blocks and consider this, their own territory and this kind of stuff, that's an insurrection. Like this is, but if you brought this up, it would fall on deaf ears. It's just January 6th, Trump, Trump is the monster under these people's bed. They wake up at night in cold sweats, like just having bad dreams and nightmares about Trump. Like, where did Trump touch you, yo?
Should have been convicted on January 6th. Is that, I'm just trying to understand.
It's not a court of law. The U.S. federal court is totally corrupt. And believe me, I did not come into this with an opinion. I started overseeing the U.S. federal court in March of 2022 when these trials started. And what I've seen is the most biased, the most corrupt judges who say in the sentencings, if you think the 2020 election was corrupted, you belong in prison. If you stand up for Donald Trump, you belong in prison. I saw a judge last week who said, I'm buying you a beer. I'm buying the prosecution a beer. No judge, her name is Judge Anna Reyes, no judge should be able to buy a beer for anyone that works for the federal government, especially the prosecution.
What judge on the record said that if you think Trump won the election, you should go to jail?
Reggie Walton.
Huh. She gave a name. Let's do some research.
Reggie Walton.
I'll look that up. I'm very
aware. You're going to have to read through all the transcripts starting in March 2022. Look at the case of Dustin Thompson. Okay, that's April 2022. Look at my Instagram. Look at my X. Look at all of the shows that I do.
I'm asking you right now because that's why you came on the show. I'm asking you questions. So even the judges that were appointed by Donald Trump, Republican judges, they're all corrupt. All the judges.
They have turned because the DOJ, the Biden crime family, controls the DOJ every single day in federal court. I see you need to let me finish or I'm not going to do your show. Every time I'm in federal court, I see high-level DOJ in the front of the courtroom walk in and tell the judges what to do and tell the prosecution what to do. The Biden crime family controls the DOJ. So the judges that Trump appointed, like Trevor McFadden, they've turned on the J6ers to keep their jobs.
Gotcha. All right. I just want to be clear because I want to understand your position. It was all an inside job, even though there's no direct evidence to prove that, even though you claim you've done these interviews.
Oh, there's so much evidence. I can't tell you in a 1-minute soundbite.
Gotcha.
We'd have to talk for hours.
Well, I'm not looking for a soundbite.
And you should go to stophate.com and you should interview David Summerall from stophate.com.
Okay. So I just want to make sure I got you right. So you said that all Trump supporters are nonviolent American patriots.
I mean, I would never say all. I'm sure there's violent, but the people that were violent on January 6th were instigated by the police or the feds that were there. American patriots are not violent people. We have video footage of the police allowing them in. No one knows where Congress is. No one knows where the Senate is. No one knows where Nancy Pelosi's office is. They were allowed in. One of my friends, Baked Alaska, was in Nancy Pelosi's office. He was allowed in by the New York Times. Do you understand that? The New York Times set him up. People got set up. And if I had been there, I would have thought it was okay to walk in. I had no idea.
They're not giving me any quotes at all online right now. So
wouldn't have destroyed anything. But the bottom line is that
then you don't understand our laws because if you would have
I do. And that's so rude to say to me. I would never be disrespectful. I'm on your show, Brian. Don't be disrespectful to me. Well, I do understand our laws. I'm in U.S. You know what, Brian? I challenge you. Why don't you come to Washington, D.C. and spend one day of your life in U.S. federal court with me and come with me to Congress and I'll show you what's really happening in Washington, D.C. Because you have no clue. You're sitting in a basement making all these judgments about nothing. You don't get it. American patriots who stand up for Donald Trump are getting arrested in numbers. 33 people got arrested in the month of January by the feds.
If I may, because I'm trying to be respectful here, but I'm going to respond to what you just said. I don't have to go to Washington, D.C. to have.
I mean, you do.
Okay, if
you have to experience it or you're not a real journalist. You're just a talk show host babbling like everybody else. You're just, I'm on the streets of D.C. experiencing it. Witnessing it, boots on the ground, heels on the ground. You're just in your parents' basement babbling about nothing.
So first of all, what entity do you work for? Nobody's hired you. You don't even have.
And you know what? I don't know this chick, but I don't know her background. I don't know what she does, but I'm more apt to trust what she's saying more than Brian Shapiro because he has higher ups. There's things that he can and can't say. You know what I mean? He has to say, he has to pitch a narrative. He has to stay constrained. He can't say certain things because he works for a radio show, so this chick, she looks like an independent journalist. I'm kind of more apt to I'd have to do my background, but I just think that Brian Shapiro, even if he was being honest, he can only be so honest.
have a real job. So don't you insult me.
I mean,
okay?
that's so tacky. I
Okay.
work for
Number
myself and
two,
everyone
yeah,
hires
exactly.
me. And what
Because
I do
you're
is
a
so
kook.
dangerous.
Because
I
you're a
don't
kook.
tell people who hires me because it's
Right.
no
There goes
one's
Brian.
business.
He's about to
You can
Understand
follow
that-
me on Instagram. You can
No,
follow me on
nobody
X.
follows you.
You can
You don't
follow
have a
me on
following 'cause you're an
CloutHub.
idiot. You're an
CloutHub.
idiot. You're
CloutHub
an
is the
idiot.
best way to get
Shout it out.
information.
You are
CloutHub, ClouthHub.
You have no idea what you're
CloutHub.com is the
talking about.
most
I calmed
uncensored
you
news
down.
in the world.
You're a kook. That's the
ClouthHub.com.
reason
Go
why
to
nobody has
ClouthHub.com.
ever fired
I'm a
you.
real journalist. I'm
January
boots on the
6th
ground, heels on the
not an
ground. I'm
inside
in
job.
Washington,
That's what
D.C.,
you say.
telling you the
You have
truth.
absolutely
I
no
experienced
idea
it.
what
You guys are
talking about.
You live in your
That
parents'
nobody
basement and
takes
you're
any
back.
responsibility for what they did on January 6th makes you a complete idiot. You are a nut.
Yeah, you
And then
muted
Dan
me. So
Crenshaw
you're
is sitting out of his
censorship.
office. Look,
So
she's
you
still talking. She doesn't
censor.
even know
You
that I
ask
talked
me
her
on
down.
your show
By
and
the
then
way,
you
I'm a talk
censor
show
me.
host.
That
You're
is
the definition of a
ridiculous.
journalist. You're no journalist. Just because you hold your
You
stupid
should leave the
microphone
United
and you
States.
harass congressmen and congresswomen in the
Why
House
don't you
of Congress,
move to
that doesn't mean
Gaza?
you're a
Why don't
journalist.
you
You can't even
Gaza?
spell the word
Move
journalist.
to Gaza,
And then you
dude.
go into Dan Crenshaw's office. Coming out of Dan Crenshaw's office, yeah, look, she's still talking.
I
and then she
wasn't
moved.
in Dan Crenshaw's office.
You're a coward, you stupid
I
coward.
was outside.
You're a
I was
coward.
out. Oh
Go
my
ahead, shout her out. See
God.
what the Duke is saying, you stupid coward. You walk, yeah, go ahead, take a picture of me. You're a coward. You walk out of Dan Crenshaw's office.
I
Look
was
at it.
never near Dan Crenshaw's office.
Dan
He was
Crenshaw walked
walking in
out
a
of his
hallway that I
office.
was in.
Dan
Dan
Crenshaw walked
Crenshaw is
out of his office.
disgusting. He
I
doesn't
don't
stand
know.
up for anything. And you're retarded. You live in your parents'
you used the term
basement and you
retarded.
sit inside and
I'm so shocked that a MAGA deplorable would use that word. This woman has probably never had a
Oh,
job
my
in journalism in her life, and she starts attacking me.
He's so mad. She called him retarded. And I can't believe that you said that word. I'm telling you, that word, he's really sensitive to that word. The retard, the hard R, you know what I mean? He hates it. So if you ever see this guy in public, you don't have to call him a retard, just say it and see what happens. Like, for real, Brian Shapiro is really sensitive to the retard word. And that's like a litmus test. Retard, I said it the entire time, but there was a time where people were like, you can't say that anymore. But I'm not young, and we've said retard. We said retarded it was just a word. And for some reason, he's just, he's a sign of the times, man. All of a sudden, the word can't be said.
Me and I'm in a basement. No, ma'am, I actually have a real job. This is a real radio
It's a real job. He has a real job.
Station. It's an FM AM radio station. Look at her with her stupid camera that 5 people
I have a
watch
real job.
because she has no following. This is an FM AM radio station, and I average about 50,000 views a day. Have you ever had a real
I average 50,000 views a day. His views that he averages are because people hate watch him. Just like I'm not hate watching him. This is entertainment to me. But most of his viewers, you could go check out his comments on his own page. Not like maybe 5% to 10% are supporting what he's saying, and the rest are just calling him an imbecile. A lot of them are calling him a woman. It's pretty, yeah. I love his comments. His comment section is awesome.
real job in the media where a company actually paid you? I'll pod you back up. Have you ever had a real job, you nutcase?
Everyone boycott Brian Shapiro.
Okay,
Brian, there's something mentally wrong with you. You don't yell at women, Brian. You don't yell at women.
No, Brian Shapiro yells at women. Not only does he yell at women, he says misogynist things to women. He creeps in their DMs. He threatens them. He calls them. He went in Savannah Hernandez's inbox as soon as she got assaulted by those people at the when she was just covering a protest and was just talking. What Savannah Hernandez is like 105-pound, like a little girl journalist, and he's in there just like talking crazy to her. Like Brian Shapiro loves yelling at women.
You don't invite me on your show and then you start yelling. There's something mentally ill and wrong with you.
Somehow they're all innocent and it was an inside job. But she says I'm the crazy one, and she could show it to her 5 followers. Guess what? I don't want any of your followers to watch my show. I don't want any of your followers. Look at her. She's still talking. She thinks she's broadcasting. She doesn't even know. She's never had a job in her life.
She doesn't even know.
Crazy human being.
Brian,
so also said that I'll ask you something else.
Parents' basement. This is what I'm dealing with. Everybody boycott this idiot Brian Shapiro.
You're capable.
What number is this?
You are.
What even radio station is this? This is an example of super.
Nobody knows. Nobody knows what radio station that is.
rising wages, outpacing falling inflation, 9% down to 3.4%. Insulin costs are down, but you say that America is going down the tubes. Yeah, and the coward just left. What a nutcase. Wow. I didn't think, I knew that her tweets on social media were crazy, but I'll be honest with you, I didn't think she was this crazy. Holy smokes, what a crazy human being. What a nut. Yeah, I can't wait till she posts that. Okay.
Can you take your head off? Can we see your hairline?
Let's go.
Will you take your shirt off?
All right, this is going to be Rob Noor and Brian Shapiro. This gets really personal. Brian Shapiro loves asking dudes to take off their shirt, and then I'm going to tell you what else he says later. That's what I'm going to end it with. When he asked Rob Noor something pretty titillating.
Off. If you take your shirt off right now, I'll take my hat off. Is that a deal?
What's it have to do? There's obviously clear implications between.
If you take your shirt off right now, I'll take my hat off. Okay.
Why do you want?
No, I'm not a lapdog to the radio station just because I'm on the radio station. So now that we've cleared.
Did he just? He didn't. He cut the area where he took his hat off. That's funny, right? Like, because this is on Brian Shapiro's page, and he just skipped past the part where he took his hat off.
That up. There's
Go
things
ahead.
in life.
Say a racial slur. You're not anyone's lapdog. Say it.
Yeah, say it. Say it. Yeah, say it.
Say a racial
on
slur?
radio. Yeah, you're not anyone's lapdog. Go ahead.
What the hell is wrong with you?
Oh, that means that there are people above you that make decisions that you have to listen to. So
Yes,
you're their lapdog.
Yeah, I think you're
So you're
Andrew
their
Wilson.
lapdog, is what you're suggesting.
I work for myself, and that has nothing to do with race. And
That's
it's
awesome.
Just because I
get paid to work with another industry doesn't mean that I'm their lapdog.
Okay, you're right.
What's this personal insult have to do with shit that you're not doing very well in this debate? You want to bring up Andrew Giddens really in your head.
We're on the air, Rob. So I know you've worked in radio before, so you know that there's certain words that you can't say. So
that's right, because you're a lapdog of the people that are issuing those policies.
Thank you. Okay, you said there's things that I'm not good at, and I'm just trying to point out to you that there's probably plenty of things that you're not good at either, like not being able to eat a salad. You're probably not good at that.
Ooh, a weight joke. Well, that's not true. I eat salads along with a bunch of other fattening food,
well,
but I have been losing a bunch of weight. Now, it's interesting because if we're going to go back, I seem to remember that you were the type of person that said you don't like to get into personal insults and stuff. I've said no such thing about you. I've only made the point that I don't think you're getting in depth in subjects, and now you're making it personal. Now, I think everyone that's listening sees why you're doing this, and I could take it personally, but I'm being polite because you're on radio, so I'm being very polite here for you.
I appreciate that, Rob. So, Rob, you were pointing out things that you don't think I'm good at. Okay. Now we can move on. The reason why I was saying,
I want to talk about these allegations of your ex-girlfriend and how you treated her poorly. Can we talk about that?
Yeah. So that's another thing too, is like Brian Shapiro is known for, like I said, he's known for kind of white knighting for women, being like, you shouldn't talk to them like that. Women should vote. Women should work. Don't be a misogynist, and don't be a bigot, and be nice to women. But at the same time, he defends like women getting like literally attacked at like protests. He jumps in people's DMs. He said some of the craziest things to Rachel Wilson, like in her DMs, even before the debate. And here's another thing. I'm gonna shout out the Wilsons. Andrew Wilson's a better man than me. Like, because again, the idea that he said these things and hasn't been like somebody put hands on him yet. You know what I mean? Yeah, because I couldn't do it. If me and him were ever face to face and we were ever having a discussion, hopefully it would stay cordial, because I wouldn't allow you to. Yeah, I couldn't do it. It's bad. It's bad.
My ex-girlfriend.
Yeah, I saw some sort of allegations that you treated a woman that you had some sort of relationship with poorly. Can we talk about that?
Completely not true.
Oh, that's not. I see posts online that suggest it.
Well, you know what? I see posts online that you're a pedophile. Does that mean you're a pedophile? I don't care.
Really? Can you show me the post that said that?
Okay.
Yeah, show him the posts. Show him the posts right now that show that say that Rob is what he's saying, or did he just make that up?
So, Rob, have I ever
I can bring up the post if you want. Let's read it together. Let's read it together.
So, Rob, have I ever?
You don't want to? You don't want to take it personal?
So you're going to read posts that people say about me, just alleged things that they say about me that are, I've never been convicted of a crime or charged with a crime in my life, but yet you're going to take the argument of what people say, which, by the way, I don't pay attention to. People could say, people have called me a rapist. They've called me a pedophile. They've called me a woman abuser. People have said,
I called him a woman abuser myself.
Some of the worst possible things you could say about somebody, Rob.
Because I've seen him abuse women. Like, I've seen him verbally abuse women. And then at the same time, like, say that people should be like specially like treat women special or something.
But the difference between me and you is if somebody went online and said you're a woman abuser or a pedophile, I would say, just like I've tried to say in this entire.
I know. That's what I'm saying. The women that he keeps around him are paid women. He pays women to hang around him. Come on. There's not one woman out there. Look at this dude's face. Look at his dumb hat. There's not one woman out there that's going to be like, yeah, let's go out on a date. That's silly. That is silly. And I think he's doing this on purpose. You know what I mean? With the hat thing. The hat, like, he could put on a ball hat. He could keep it a straight baldy. I'd be cool with him rocking a do-rag. Anything but that dumbass hat. That's crazy. In 2026, not being like some like gentleman with a monocle or having a suit with it, just rocking that hat as a daily ensemble is insane.
Entire conversation, and this is the problem with you.
It's great radio.
No, it's not great radio. I think you're an idiot.
You brought it up. See, here's what's happening. You're scrambling because you wanted to make it personal. You wanted to make it personal.
It's going to go the way I want it to go, or you can leave. This is the fundamental difference between me and you. I don't just throw allegations at people because random people, Rob, say things online. That's the route that you want to go. It's a very ugly route, and it's stupid. So, Rob, let me just make this clear to you so that maybe we can move on to something else, okay? I've never been, forget about even being convicted. I've never even been charged with a crime in my whole life. Okay, Rob? So if you'd like to get back to a debate, which it doesn't sound like you really want to, I'm happy to do that. The reason why I went personal with you is because you went personal with me and said, there's things that you do that you're not very good at. We can go back and we can rewind the tape. I agree. There are things in my life that I'm not very good at. I am far from a perfect person. But when it comes to this, I think I'm doing a little bit better than you. So let's stick to the actual topics. And next time you're invited on Pierce Morgan, or next time you're invited on a national, show, maybe, you know what, you're probably good enough to be on OAN. So I take that back. But
again, I want to make this point real clear. You're the person who brought this up. I only said about you're not doing good at going in depth into issues. You then decided to make it personal, which was outrageous. And if we're going to bring it about personal, about who I work for and I'm a lapdog and I don't eat salads, then why wouldn't it be fair game to talk about the things about you that's being said online?
Well, because
being unethical doesn't mean you can be unethical, and it doesn't have to raise to the level of you being convicted of a crime.
Here's the difference.
Do you want to read it? Do you want to read it, or do you want to move on to policy instead of being personal?
Sure. So here's the difference. So here's the difference, Rob. Okay. I'm not taking something off of social media that some random idiot says. I'm looking at a screen and I'm looking at you and I'm making an observation. Okay.
Can you take your hat off? Can we see your hairline?
Will you take your shirt off? If you take your shirt off right now, I'll take my hat off. Is that a deal?
What's it have to do? There's obviously
Let's
clear
see, this
implications.
is going to be crazy. This is going to be nuts.
If you take your shirt off right now, I'll take my hat off. Okay,
why do you want to see me without a shirt on?
Yo, that's crazy. Put the hat back on, dog. Put the hat back on, please. That's crazy.
Wow, look at that.
Yo, and he got the side fade. That's crazy.
Holy shit, I can barely see.
You just said a slur again.
Turn that light down. Turn that light down. Holy shit. Oh my God.
Yo, that's crazy. He looks unhealthy, yo.
My eyes.
Swear 2 times. I've asked you multiple times to not.
I grew my hair out like recently, man. Most of my life, since I've been about 14, I've completely shaved my head. Completely shaved my head. Never looked like this. I don't know what it is, but some people are just okay. They don't look bad with a bald head. This dude looks crazy, unhealthy, very Uncle Fester-like. You know what I mean?
Swear on the air, and you've swore on the air again. I'm showing you that I am not an insecure person. Now, would you like to take your shirt off or not?
No, I'm not going to take my shirt off. I know that's something that you would be interested in.
No, I'm not.
I'm married. I'm married, Brian. Thank you, though.
Take your shirt off. Take your shirt off, Rob.
Interested in what's underneath.
I'm married, Brian. Thank you so much.
So now, Rob, why don't you take off your shirt?
Take off your shirt, Rob.
I appreciate you hitting on me. I'm not looking for.
If I had a fetish for overweight middle-aged dudes who don't know how to have debates, who are lapdogs for Andrew Wilson, then maybe I would want to take you out on a date. So I want to talk to you guys about.
What's
your
next?
online.
What's next? Is there any more?
I know you're dying to get some clout and debate some people, but you will not be debating me. So maybe you, as the master debater, can debate somebody else, and you could talk about Black Lives Matter and the Steele dossier and Joe Biden, telling Trump to go back into the bunker. Those are very good debating talking points, Rob. You're very good at what you do. I appreciate you coming on. And
he's being condescending, like Rob Noor isn't a great debater. Rob Noor is like, Rob Noor is nothing to play with as somebody like an opponent in debate. I don't think we disagree about much, but I would definitely I wouldn't think I was going to exactly win. I wouldn't be overly confident. He's like, Rob Noor is one of the best debaters on the internet. And I'll say that confidently. You know what I mean?
Anytime you read something on social media, it must be true. You're a very intelligent person, Rob. I do appreciate you coming on. I'm trying to compliment you, by the way. I'm trying to end this conversation with a compliment. Now, I know you and Andrew will do 10 videos about.
More Andrew Wilson's. He literally has TDS, and I guess Andrew Wilson derangement syndrome too. That's all he talks about. He gets haunted by him. And after those cartoons came out, have you guys seen those cartoons? Maybe I'll play the cartoons in a second. I might do that. I'll find the cartoons. They're hilarious.
About me, and you'll dissect this because you don't have any other material to talk about. By the way, on this show, I've interviewed Robert F. Kennedy Jr., Caroline Leavitt, Vivek Ramaswamy, just to name a few. What is the biggest guest you've had in the last 6 months, Rob?
The biggest guest I had? How about sitting Congressman Dan Muser, sitting Congressman
Wow.
Clarence Thompson?
Wow, those are huge gets, Rob. So I'm just telling you, as a left-leaning host, I've had 20 times the caliber of guests that you have. And by the way, I get them on my show.
None of that matters. You could have the best. You could get on Piers Morgan. You could go on Joe Rogan. It wouldn't make you any less of a spurging out, feminized, beta type dude. You're still going to be a lol cow no matter where you go. I hope he makes it to Joe Rogan. That would be hilarious. If Brian Shapiro ever makes it to a Joe Rogan show, I'm going to cover it immediately. It will be the funniest thing ever.
Pretty much every day. Unfortunately, you're the bottom of the barrel.
I mean, my goodness, you have it so.
Get him off.
You have such a low self-esteem.
You're not going to be debating me in Phoenix. So that was breaking the agreement that we had. But I'm
against it.
So they look at this guy like a messiah. Why won't more people like you call it out?
Are they in
More
the
with
room?
Are they?
What do you think about?
I mean, you keep referring to individuals who are not debating, who are not in the room.
All right, I'll ask you flat out.
Yes.
Is Donald Trump a really bad guy?
I don't make heart judgments.
You don't. Even
just
somebody that goes into a girl's locker room without their permission and looks at them naked,
I
that's
think,
not a bad guy?
I think there are so many ways and moments of an individual's life that you could point out and say, don't you think for this thing that person is a bad guy?
You know what? We're going to get into I got one more and then we'll play some cartoons. But this is I found this on Twitter. This is when Brian Shapiro, I don't know if he was cammed up, but he kept on calling in, just kept on calling in the Rob show, just kept on calling in, that's all he was doing was just, he couldn't take the L. And listen to what he says. Just tell me what he says. Listen.
Allegedly, as you were taking that woman's money, is that what you said to her?
Rob.
Why don't you show me your tits? Is that what you said?
Show
Is
your
that
penis,
something?
Rob.
You hear what he just said? He said, "Why don't you show your penis, Rob?" One more time.
Your tits? Is that what you said?
Show
Is
your
that
penis,
something?
Rob.
Alleged tits? Is that what you said?
Show
Is
your
that
penis,
something?
Rob.
Is that what you said?
Show
Is
your
that
penis,
something?
Rob.
Is that what you said?
Show
Is
your
that
penis,
something?
Rob.
Alleged abuse that you
One more
gave
time.
them? Is that what you said?
Show
Is
your
that
penis,
something?
Rob.
Alleged.
Yeah, that was Brian Shapiro now asking to show
abuse that
to show him his
you
penis.
gave to that woman?
Which
Is that some of
You
it?
went personal with me when you lose a debate.
Which is
Allegedly, as you were
it's pretty bad. Pretty bad. Pretty bad. Let's go find there's two amazing cartoons. Shout out to the Crucible. They have this art department now where they're making these small short cartoons and they are absolutely hilarious. So let's see. Sorry guys, I'm bad at typing. Not only did I learn how to do all this tech, but I also just learned how to type apparently too. one's funny. Okay. Yeah, the prize fighter, that one's funny. Yeah, so let's do the prize fighter. This one is absolute gold.
I mean, do you hear what you're saying? You're not tougher than me, okay? You're not. I mean,
all right, this is what we're gonna end with. I got 2 cartoons for you. This is called the prize fighter, and this pissed him off. Brian Shapiro did a whole cope fest on just this.
I mean, do you hear what you're saying? You're not tougher than me, okay? You're not smarter than me. I'm sure a lot of people tell you that you're really smart, but you're not smarter than me, okay?
You got what it takes, Brian.
You think so?
You're gonna look good out there. We're gonna look good out there.
I believe that. As a matter of fact, I know that.
I'm looking at you right now and I see a fucking champion.
Thank you.
But if you lose...
Well, I don't...
And I think this has to do with there was allegations in the past that he had a gambling problem, and I don't know. That doesn't really matter, but I think that's what they're inferring. He had some people that were some people that he owed money to.
Be a fucking champion.
Thank you.
But if you lose...
Well, I don't...
Shut up. God forbid you lose.
That's Rob Noor, the guy that you just watched. That he was like, "Show me your penis, Rob."
Brian Shapiro.
Myron Gaines.
Brian Shapiro.
You can barely touch it.
Jay Dyer.
That's the guy right there. This is that last debate, because again, that debate was just, he got dissected. It was so surgical to go against a guy like Jay Dyer and be confident that you embarrassed him, that you did something. It just shows utter delusion. Yeah, that's hilarious. With the ref being Andrew Wilson, that's amazing. So let's get the last one. This is called "You're Not Smarter Than Me."
You could say whatever you want, okay? You could say I'm bad at philosophy. You could say that I'm bad at argumentation. You could say that I'm bad at logic or reason, deductive abilities, whatever you want to say, okay? But here's one thing you can't say. You can't say, Brian, you don't have a nationally syndicated radio program that 800,000 people listen to. Okay? 800,000 people. 800,000 people, that's almost 1 million people. So when you want to talk about how many people you're bringing to the table, maybe we could talk about that. I mean, I'm pretty good at math, and I'll tell you right now that 800,000 people is more than 250,000 or 300 or whatever it is. So we could start there, or maybe we could start with the fact that no matter what you say, there's always going to be the elephant in the room, which is Donald Trump. I'm not the one with emotional insecurities, okay? That's you. I'm willing to talk about it. You know why? Because I have a thing called courage. I have a thing called bravery. But you're chicken shit. I mean, I get it. Why get out on the front lines of journalism when you can just sit in your house and smoke your cigarettes indoors, okay? Which, is vulgar, by the way. I just find that incredibly repulsive. And you know and I know that a lot of other people do too. Hey, Rob Noor, you know who you're not smarter than? Me. And many of my listeners as well.
You can cop out that you're not a political person, but that you're an entertainer. Well, guess what, pal? Entertain me. I want to be entertained, and I'm sure that your viewers want to be entertained as well, because frankly, Andrew, you're not entertained.
No, don't play word games with me. Show me your dick. Show me your dick, Rob. Yeah. Let's see it. Whip it out right here and now, Rob. You weren't expecting that, were you? No, you weren't. Get out that bird of yours, and show it to the world. Show it to me.
It's not gay.
It's not gay.
Not gay.
Not that there's anything wrong with being gay. I don't have a problem with being gay. I mean, I'm not gay. I can show you a picture right now of me with some beautiful women who are listeners of my show, by the way, but that doesn't matter. Show me your dick and take off your shirt, too. Take off your shirt and show me your dick.
Tough guy, Rob Noor. Rob Noor! You know what? You could try to play word games with me, Andrew.
Everyone's gonna see who the real tough guy is. And it's not you.
You're not smarter than me.
Homophobic, misogynist,
And a lot of other things that I can't say.
because I have a family program.
But, you know, I will say this. Your wife's a dirty slut. I DM'd her. I told her so.
They're not hookers. They're not OnlyFans models.
And you're proud of that. I cannot I said, that show me your dick. Rob, who do you think I am?
You're the cartoon. You've always been the cartoon.
Oh, that's amazing. That is absolute gold. Hey, and thank you guys so much for joining me. I'm gonna have some more content. Probably I might pump out something tonight, man. But yeah, I just thought I had to have some fun and do another live stream and just start learning more and more about the process. What I have learned is that it's not easy at all. So these guys that are doing it by themselves without teams and people helping them, oh my God, kudos to them. It's not easy, especially like, you know, I'm a business owner. I have tons of other things that I'm doing to fit this in and to make this happen. It's just, yeah, it's stressful. I see myself getting frustrated because like learning tech, because I'm not really into it, I just don't like it. I don't even like the learning process. So it's super frustrating. Every hurdle I have to jump when I'm troubleshooting. Yeah, I'm literally like most of the night just arguing with ChatGPT, you know, throwing insults and shit and being, you know, yeah, being pretty frustrated. But with that being said, thank you guys so much. Hey, Stella. Hey, you want to say bye? You want to say bye to the crowd? You want to say bye? What's over there? What is over there? What is that? You saying bye? Okay, she's saying bye to you guys. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you guys next time. Yeah.
Let's keep it off the books. Not a secret. It's off the books.